Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Elliot Brown here with Essex Business Radio for another one of these very special shows, a C-19, How We Deal With It, where I chat to people everywhere, seemingly, about how we're all dealing with COVID-19, how it's affected our lives, and the positives we're taking from it and what we can do to help others to make some positive changes in their lives and their business. Today, from Pittsburgh, which is not actually where you're from, but you're there at the moment, is Jennifer Gardella of the Gardella Group. How are you doing there, Jennifer?
I'm doing great, Elliot. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me. So you're in Pittsburgh right now. Let's start with that. Well, you're not from there, obviously.
No, I'm actually reliving my college experience. There was some travel that was still needed by my husband and his job back at our home in Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And my children and I decided that it was best to leave the situation for fear of contamination. So he was being extremely careful on the road, but we weren't really. He works for a company that has been deemed life necessary, whatever that I category is. They have a contract for some sort of sanitizing sprayer. And so if he was going to be traveling back and forth to the home office or to the actual client, we came up here. So my daughter's apartment was empty. A couple of her roommates had left their beds. So we're here.
Okay. And so you're residing with your daughters there right now?
Two very depressed, but keeping it together college students. I have a college freshman with me and a college sophomore.
So and you know what? This is an interesting dynamic, and this is exactly the situation that we hear about and don't necessarily speak directly to. So not only have you had to completely shift your life because of the potential of your husband, or the potential contamination. Sounds weird, but let's call it that. And then of course you're 24/7 with your daughters as well in an environment that isn't your home. Wow.
Right, and what the most interesting part was. When we made the decision to come up here, I mean, she has a lease on the apartment through July, so I was already going to be paying. I'm already paying her rent. So to pay the other girls was not a really big issue. Sure. But it kind of gave me the opportunity to look at my 20-year-old and say, thank you for having us. Yeah. Which is a very, even though I'm paying all the rent, it's her home. And I was like, wow.
Well, how has this happened?
Yeah, how did this happen? Wait, I'm now visiting her home. I'm a guest. So while we did come in and I demanded that the fridge be immediately cleaned out because there was some things left by the girls, it was where's your vacuum? I would love to vacuum, kind of, but it's not my space. And I'm visiting my adult child, which is great.
Oh, excellent. Well, you're still keeping up with good spirits by the looks of it. So that's the main thing. Missing your husband, I'm assuming, or is it quite nice to have some space?
Oh no, we miss him dearly.
Yeah. You're on a podcast here.
Exactly.
Well, he sounds like he's doing a very worthwhile job as well, hence why he's got to continue working. And come into the work side of things. So the Gardella Group, tell me a little bit about that, your social media and blogging and...
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, when I was finishing my PhD at Rutgers University, I was working for a friend who was a divorce attorney. And it was right when all the websites were knocked off of the first page of Google and blogging and social media became really important. Yeah. And while graduating with my PhD, I thought I was going to be an educational researcher. I decided at that time that I had a very interesting skill set that small business owners couldn't afford to bring on full time, but they desperately needed the information, SEO, blogging, social, all of those nuts and bolts. Yeah. And I started a service, which is hanging on by it's on life support right now itself. Yeah. But it was called Your Social Media Hour. And I was going to send you an email every day and tell you what to do on social media to build your business.
Right.
And I love to tell people what to do. You can ask my 2 children who are currently taking their college classes.
You tell them to clean the fridge and do the hoovering.
Exactly. And the business actually flopped. But as I started to network, because I didn't know anything about building a business or networking. Right. Wow. As I started to network, I learned, I had a client, now a client, but guy raised his hand in the back of the room and he goes, I don't want your daily email. I want you to do this for me.
Right. Yeah.
So since that time, and he is actually recovering from COVID, which is crazy.
Wow.
He was in the hospital. Yes. Wow. He's now out and getting better and stronger. But thank God. But as he needed more assistance, I was actually able to shape my offerings and start to really help an awful lot of small business owners. So we do blogging and social media for a variety of small business owners. I have a very interesting divorce story, so I can help a lot of divorce attorneys very easily.
Oh, okay, interesting. So is that your niche then, is it?
It is. Some of the bigger business strategists would tell you that just should be my niche. But I've always lived with, I have to be honest with you, a little bit of fear about niching down that strong.
I don't even like the word niche, to be honest, because it got used so much over the last few years, hasn't it? But I think you do naturally in a way anyway, but yeah.
And I just took on a very interesting client, a book publisher. They publish all Jewish literature. I was like, if I niched, I never would have met these people.
Sure.
And my PhD mind needs to be researching. My staff actually, while I am divorced, my entire staff has been married for 25 years.
Oh, really?
And they love the divorce because we do a very positive divorce spin. But they're like, wow, it's really nice to have some different things to talk about. So we do accountants. I do a lot of accountants because it's very related to small business. I've done some services, some B2C services where the target market is my age group, so homeowners. So I've done cleaning services and landscapers, and they all want to build their SEO presence. Digital foundation. So.
Oh, very, very cool. So you're talking about your staff. How is that working? I mean, do you usually work out of an office? Are you used to running your business from home? How does that work normally for you?
So I do have office space in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, just to get away from my husband, who also works at home. He's in sales most of the time. We are two type A Geminis, and both of us are very, very loud.
You're what? Say again?
We are both type A Geminis. Yes.
Jesus Christ, how do you get that to work?
So so I work out. I have a desk at a co-working space, which is phenomenal. But the rest of my staff is remote. Someone's in Tennessee, someone is in our hometown of Lawrenceville, New Jersey. So they're all over the place. And I have been hiring. I hire military spouses. So my husband is retired military. I have a real soft spot in my heart to those men and women who travel with their spouse during their tour of duty or their years of service, and they can't get full-time employment, but because companies don't want to touch them. So and then stay-at-home moms who have a really hard time. They have master's degrees in English, but they still have a really hard time because they exited the workforce for so many years.
Sure.
So we're business as usual. Actually, we're not all that different.
Okay. So have you always done video calls and things like that? Did you tend to be on the phone? So you've done that anyway as a sort of a remote business, having your sort of staff spread around.
Yeah, as a local business owner in the Doylestown, Pennsylvania area, a majority of my clients are within an hour from my house. And a lot of them are my age or older. And I always say my target market, if you grew up with the phone attached to the kitchen wall, I'm your person.
That's a good way of looking at it. Okay. Yeah.
Because I understand that mindset because I grew up with the phone attached to the kitchen wall, but I also know then how important it is to put your business online. And so when they have problems or confusion, which there's always a lot of confusion, I like to be able to get into their office if I can. So I have a new client and he's very far away from me, and I am doing Loom videos. I don't know if you know about the service Loom. I
don't know Loom, no.
Yeah, it's really neat. You can send very quick personalized videos out, and I have been doing them a lot for him because he doesn't understand what's going on. Normally I would run up there at this point and do a training for him. But given the circumstances, there's no way I can do it. So that's been working well. So yeah, most of the time, I would say 75% of the time I'm sitting at a desk.
Well, I'll have to have a look at the Loom thing. That's a good little tip.
Yeah, and it's really neat because you can flip it to see you and say hello, and then I can flip it back to their Facebook page. And show them exactly what to do on Facebook to build their presence.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it is working.
Yeah, so it's sort of almost like a share screen and stuff like that on it, is it?
Yes, and then the great part is again, given that my target market is slightly older,
Yeah.
and this is all, the digital space is very new and they're very resistant,
Yeah.
they can watch the Loom video again and again and again until they get it.
That's really handy. That's really, but I'm not being funny. I mean, you know,
No.
I have my skills. I know what my skill sets
Sure.
are, but there's certain things when it comes to, I get a bit uncomfortable with certain things, and
Right.
I have to go over it a few times. I mean, you know, we all have our ways of working, don't we? So that's good. That's a good tip.
Yeah, so definitely highly, and it's so easy to work. I mean,
Okay.
so it's
Okay,
great.
that's a good tip. So on the social side and blogging side, how has that changed? What are you doing differently for your clients to sort of help them to keep their presence out there? I suppose you know, that's your skill set anyway. Is there anything you're doing differently at the moment? Did the dynamics changed in how you're working?
Yes and no. So we are still moving forward with continually putting out phenomenal basic information that ideal clients need.
Okay.
So whether I'll take, you know, like the average divorce attorney, the average accountant, there's still those tried and true pieces of evergreen content that need to make it to your website on a regular basis.
Okay.
What I am not doing is making sure that my clients kind of glob on to the COVID-19/coronavirus craze and look like they're advertising to make money off of it.
Right. Okay.
That is, I think, going to be a very dangerous and slippery slope and unethical.
There are a few out there.
Oh gosh, yeah. So, but to make sure that their ideal clients know that they are there for them. So here in the United States, we went through an insane week of not knowing when our taxes were going to be due. Normally they're due on April 15th.
Yeah.
And it was, well, something's due on April 15th, but then, and it was like back and forth. And I was writing blogs every day. Yeah. And I was like, wait, stop. This is crazy. No matter when the taxes are due, get these 5 things in order, you know, that kind of thing. So we stopped all that back and forth. But my divorce attorney clients are putting out information about living with a spouse that you maybe just started the divorce process with.
Right.
You know, January's divorce month.
Oh, God.
So January's divorce month, when a lot of people start the process. Is
that what this class does?
Yes, it's like proven.
Really? Do you know what? I mean, I'm quite a worldly wise guy. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know January was a thing. I mean, I've never been married, so I haven't gone through that process.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you haven't gone through it. Yeah. So a lot of people divorce in January because they want to get through one more holiday season.
Right.
And so then they divorce in January. So now we're just in March. You know, this all hit in March and now April. This is when filing starts. This is when people are served. So there's a lot of people in very unhappy marriages. And I didn't want my clients to go out there and say, oh my gosh, if you know you're not making it during COVID, call me immediately. We've been putting out some much softer information to, you know, what does happen with the custody schedule. Like if you have a child who's moving between 2 homes and one is not self-quarantining and the other is, like how does that work? Because the courts are closed. The cops don't want to come to your house. So it's been tricky.
That's an interesting subject for sure. Not one that I considered before, really. But yeah, I mean, I'm being locked down in a property though, and if you're due to go your separate ways, and then you're stuck in one house, that would be even worse. Oh my God. Deary me. I feel for anybody out there that may be watching or listening to this. If you are in that situation, I genuinely feel for you. So
now we're real estate agents. I don't know about real estate agents over in London, but the real estate market has stopped completely over here.
I mean, nobody's going to be doing anything. I think, I do know a couple have been on the show, friends of mine that have them, and they obviously stopped doing viewings, you know, virtually immediately. But some of them had videos, so they quickly created videos. So if people still want to look at properties, they were sort of putting that out there. It depends how creative you want to be, I suppose, in any industry right now, and how quick you are to react, or how quick you were to react maybe a couple of weeks ago to prepare yourself for this. Not that you really could, but as we say, very, very different, very, very different. So what advice have you got for people to cope? I mean, you're having to cope with every level of the change in your life, from, you know, being apart from your spouse, your partner, or, you know, your husband, whatever they may well be, being locked down with your teenage kids, moving away and not running your business where you normally would do, being in a complete, I mean, you've got it all going on, haven't you?
Yeah, we really do.
So how do you keep, I mean, you know, what is it? What's your mantra? What's the message you've got to put out there to other people that are going to be in similar positions that may be finding it more difficult, because you're still smiling?
I really am. So I'll address this. There's the work component, and then there's the personal component, which for most entrepreneurs is kind of one and the same.
Yes.
And I will share that at the end, I did a lot of business coaching last year where I worked with a business coach who was attempting to convince me that the way to build a proper business is to just go out there and help people.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Help as many people as you can and the money will come.
Yeah.
And when I first got home from about a month ago from a trip with my kids, and Corona, you know, was just becoming a thing, I was like, oh my God, I am going to miss the boat.
Yeah.
Right? My courses aren't ready. Your social media hour isn't back up and running. I could be making so much money. And I went, wait a minute. This is an opportunity to help people.
Absolutely.
And so what I did was I reached out to every single prospect who I have ever talked to. Yeah. And I said, I just want to let you know, I don't need to hire me. I'm offering a free 30-minute phone call to answer all your questions, because I'm sure you're scared to death. Because some of them have been completely shut down. Like the doors are shuttered, the factory's closed, nothing's being sold. Yeah. The other thing is I started a telesummit where every couple days I put up a new video of very clear action steps that people can take to build their social media presence. So this isn't your typical telesummit with the experts that come on where we sit around and talk about how great we are for a half hour and then we say, book a call or download my freebie. This is very tactical information so that people can get moving.
I like that.
So I made that deep commitment to help, assuming that the universe will provide me then eventually with the compensation. I did.
I like the way you put that.
Yeah, don't strangle it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I like that.
I did the telesummit. I reached out to contacts. I called all my clients personally. Some of them I called from Orlando when I was there, and I said, okay, we're going to get through this. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're, you know, and then personally for me, I just went through another program called Lifebook, where they really insist that you pick 12 habits that you then consider sacred habits to help build your life. So what 12 habits can you put into your life and do those every day? Wow. And so it's easy when you don't have the dog and the husband and the stepchildren and, you know, normal life running around, a lawn to cut, a dog to, you know, all that's going on to say, okay, what are my 12 habits and and I want to get them done every single day. Wow. So that's a big piece of, that's a big piece of this for me.
Wow. Okay. Well, there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be taken from that for sure. And and you know, your experience that you're going through so far and how you're dealing with it, and those words there are superb. So those tips that you put up there, where can people find your details? Where can people find those that information?
Oh, thanks for asking. So if you go to my main website, which is jennifergardella.com. Yep. You go over just in the top navigation bar and push the button for telesummit. Okay. And you get full access to everything. So it's all right there.
Great stuff.
I have a new one too. Yeah. And I also, it's interesting. I don't know how much your listeners know. There are so many other great free tools out there. Yale University here in the United States has put their most popular course online. Right. Which is very exciting for a lot of people. It's on building happiness. Okay. So if you are feeling down at this time in your life, you can learn from the #1 course at Yale, which I think is kind of exciting. And then all of the bigger courses that we know about, they're all on sale for like $29. I mean, nothing is running full price. So it's a tremendous time for people to learn new skills.
There is a huge amount of information out there that is readily available to people for sure. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. I brought my guitar with me because Fender is giving free guitar lessons. I'm like, I'm in.
I mean, well, good luck with your guitar lessons. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for joining me and all of those bits of advice and tips and things. I will make sure that there are links around the post so that people can see, where they are, and we'll make sure that's clear. So that you'll share this out to your audience and on social media for us, won't you?
Absolutely. Just let me know. Email me the links and I'll get them right out.
Yeah, I will do. I'll do that. I'll do that afterwards. Oh, thank you very much, Jennifer. And I wish you the best of luck with everything that you're going through, and to your husband as well, and to you with the kids, and the move. Hopefully, the move back to however life returns to some sort of normality is fairly soon for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You too, Elliot. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, so there's Jennifer Gardella there, and another one of our. I'm loving these conversations I'm having, these chats I'm having all over the world. There's a lot to be taken from it, and I hope you've taken a lot from today's. If you want to know more about Essex Business Radio, please go and check out www.essexbusinessradio.com. You'll find all the links there, and you can download the app, the free app, so you can listen to all the podcasts. Thanks again, Jennifer. And I'm signing off for now. Ciao for now. Brown cow.